Live Lean Nation, on today's episode, I'm sharing the self-help book on leadership that I'm currently reading. Welcome to LiveLeanTV. I am your host, Brad Guthrie, the #1 expert teaching you how to live lean 365 days a year. So by now, guys, you know that I'm a big believer in constantly working on creating the best version of yourself physically and mentally. And it's funny that throughout all my years of studying at school, what stands out most from all the lectures and all the textbooks are 3 words that one of my professors said to me on my last day of classes. And to this day, it still stands out as the most important thing I learned in college: never stop learning. So regardless if you're an entrepreneur like me, or you go to work for a business, you go to school, or you're a stay-at-home parent, not only should you be working on your body, you should also be working on improving your #1 asset, your brain, in other words, your mindset. So I read at least 1 book a month. It's usually a self-help book on leadership, entrepreneurship, fitness, nutrition, or an autobiography. And you may be asking, why am I constantly reading books on leadership? Well, it's because I'm leading our Live Lean Transformation 100,000 mission to make healthy habits like moving your body and eating real food normal again. Sounds crazy, but we need this. So this month, I've been reading a brand new leadership book called 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs from one of my favorite best-selling authors, Robert Kiyosaki. He's well known as the author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, and this is the book that changed my mindset from finding a safe job with a pension where I report to a boss and fulfill a company's soulless mission to creating an entrepreneurial lifeship where I'm excited to get up every day to fulfill my passion and to be of service to others by teaching them how to live a healthier lifestyle. When my mindset on this changed, everything else followed. I fired my boss over 4 years ago, and even though the first few years as an entrepreneur were really tough both financially and mentally, I understood my why because I believed it was possible, and I kept consistently hustling harder than I ever did before to make it happen. And now that hard work and that dedication is helping people live lean all over the world. So I owe a lot of my success to the teachings that I learned from many of Robert's books, especially the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. So without a doubt, when I was sent Robert's new book, 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs, I was excited to read his new material. And even though I'm not in the military, it's no surprise that the leadership experience our soldiers they received during their training, it's top notch. Because I remember watching the show The Apprentice, and the contestants with military experience, they always seem to rise to the top based on their leadership skills. And after reading this book, Robert shares his 8 lessons on how his military experience ultimately provided the foundation that he needed to succeed as an entrepreneur. So guys, there's lots of great insights in this book, and even if you aren't in a leadership role, it's important to know how to lead yourself through self-discipline. That's why this leadership ties so closely to living lean. We need that self-discipline to stick to our workouts, that self-discipline to eat the right foods, and ultimately the self-discipline to create these lifelong healthy habits that I'm teaching you guys every single week here on Live Lean TV. So I recommend, if you want to check out Robert Kiyosaki's 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs, or any of his other books like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or the Cash Flow Quadrant, you can get them on Amazon, and I'll include the links to this book and those books in the video description below. Also wanted to point out that $3 from every sale of his new book, this guy right here, will go to a military charity to assist veterans. Very, very cool. So if you enjoy learning more about the books that I'm reading every month, give us a big thumbs up by clicking that like button down there, and we'll do more episodes like this. And if you're new to Live Lean TV, I want to recommend that you subscribe to this channel because we upload new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Keep inspiring us, keep inspiring other Live Leaners, and keep living lean. Live Lean Nation, on today's episode of Live Lean TV, I'm showing you how to decode these confusing and often misleading food labels.